What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, man. It is humid, it's hot, it's sticky, and it is almost August. And so what better than to do a quick little video on lures that you can use to go out to the lakes, whether you are a bank fisherman, a boat angler, or a kayak angler, and go out there and catch some fish. August is a time of year where those bass start schooling up mid-depth, and you need sometimes a deep crankbait. They're up close, up against the bank early in the mornings. You can catch a lot of topwater fish. It's a very good month, but it can also be a very tough month, especially if you don't know what you're really doing out there. And so I'm just going to be going over a few baits, a few techniques that you guys can go out and catch a few fish, whether you're a beginner or whether you know more than me. Maybe one of my techniques will help you, and if you guys have more techniques, leave them down in the comments. I'd greatly appreciate it, and I'll definitely give them a shot for myself this August. But the techniques that I always use and I always seem to catch fish with are, number one, you get there first light, you're gonna catch some fish topwater. And so, number one, I really like to just use a basic jaywalker. Oh man, getting used to the camera, guys, trying to let it zoom in right there. But a Berkeley jaywalker. I typically like the black contrast, bluebird skies, whether it's cloudy, it doesn't really matter. I just love using the black jaywalker. For some reason, it just catches more fish, and I feel like it catches bigger fish. Something about the color black, that contrast is so easy for these fish to be able to just hone in on. They go up, they crush it. Typically, you catch bigger and better quality fish whenever you use a darker style presentation, black and blue, straight black, sometimes black and purple. Any color like that, you're gonna catch bigger fish. I don't know why. I think it's just a contrast thing, and the bass really hone in on that color black. Now, if you guys watched my last video, you guys know the Buzzbait has been killing it. Absolutely doing really well on the Buzzbait. I'm using the black Buzzbait. This is a Strike King one. Last time I had I believe it was a Guggen Buzzbait. I got it in my mystery tackle box, so I figured why not whip it out, give it a shot, and that slayed. This one also slayed. It was incredible. The bass on the Buzzbait were bigger bass, they were better quality, especially for Bartlett, so it was really exciting. And not only does topwater work June, July, August, September, October, I mean, everybody knows topwater is one of the best ways to fish when it comes to bass fishing, but the Buzzbait and the jaywalker are some of my favorite ways to catch these fish first thing in the morning. Come on, zoom camera, zoom. Using any sort of topwater is some of my favorite ways to catch fish during August and during just the later summer months. Something about it, they love it first thing in the morning. They're pushing those shad up against the bank. They start crushing them. They're eating the craws. Sometimes with the monsoon seasons coming in, it's just pushing a lot of barometric pressure. It's dropping. It's putting a lot of pressure on the fish to go into that feed bag mode before the storms hit. And so they just really go crazy over any sort of topwater bait. From about sunrise all the way till about 8 a.m., I typically do pretty darn well with them. The next bait that I love using is the 5XD and the 6XD. This is just a basic Gizzard Shad, typical Strike King. You can never go wrong with it, but the 5XD and the 6XD, the bass midday from about 9 till 2 p.m., you're gonna start finding them in anywhere from 10 all the way down to 30 feet of water. So you need a deep diving crankbait. They're gonna be staying with those bait balls. You can use a sexy shad. I like just that basic Gizzard Shad. It does well, it does wonders for me, whether it is clear water, murky water. That's my favorite go-to. You can also use a chartreuse crankbait. Those work as well. 5XD, 6XD, just do a slow crank right along points, right along any sort of steep ledges, anything like that. You're gonna start catching a lot more fish, and you're gonna be getting more fish in the boat, which is better because now your fish count's going up, and you're also gonna start catching bigger fish because a lot of those bigger fish, they stay suspended and they stay underneath the bait schools, and they just come up and attack them throughout the day randomly. You're gonna find spurts throughout the day where you catch 10 fish real quick, and then it's gonna die, and you're gonna be like, what happened? What happened to the bite? And then again, 30 minutes later, you're gonna catch another 10 fish. And it's just gonna be consistent, but also inconsistent, if that makes sense. It's just gonna be kind of like flurries. You gotta have a search bait. Jerkbait is another great option. You can use a jerkbait that's either a suspended jerkbait or a sinking jerkbait, whether it's a fast or a slow sinking jerkbait. Typically 12 to 15 feet will draw those fish up to come and attack that bait, just because that erratic motion is really getting them going, and they're gonna come up and hit it. So make sure you have a bait to cover water. Next, I love using these now. Something about it, it's fun, it makes sense, and it's easy to rig. You just rig on a basic Texas rig with either, if you're going really finesse, you want to use a 1/8 ounce tungsten weight. If you can't find tungsten right now, that's fine. You can use a lead weight. I like to use a size 3/0 EWG. I have better hookup ratios with the extra wide gap, and that's what EWG stands for, is extra wide gap. It allows, when the fish bites down on the bait, it allows more hook exposure, which gives you a better hookup ratio. So that's what I really like to use when it comes to the lizards. These are just the net bait lizards, little green pumpkin, never go wrong with green pumpkin. And you just put a little bit of spike it on the tail, a little bit of chartreuse with that garlic scent on the tail, and you're gonna get that tail kicking up a lot. And it's gonna be kicking up all that garlic scent in the water column, and the bass are gonna follow that. They're gonna see it, they're gonna smell it, and they're gonna come and check it out. And there's so many lizards during the summer, spring, fall, right along the banks, that it's a perfect snack for the bass to come up and hit. That is another great option first thing in the morning if Topwater is not working right away. Pull out a lizard, anywhere from a 1/8 ounce tungsten weight all the way up to, I'd say max 1/2 ounce. But I don't see the need for a 1/2 ounce. I think realistically, a solid weight is probably about 1/4 of an ounce. So realistically, 1/8 ounce to 1/4 of an ounce. If you're fishing some heavier cover, you could throw a 1/2 ounce just to be able to get it to drop into that cover. But I don't really feel like that's necessary. The next bait, everybody knows, those Zoom brush hogs. It's the same style of bait. It kind of reminds me of the lizard a little bit, but it's got more appendages, it's got more erratic motion. It can also be fished on a Carolina rig, it can be fished on a Texas rig. You can fish it weightless and just have it slowly fall. Another thing that a lot of people don't think about, I have fished brush hogs on a Nico rig, and that is the most insane thing. I was having a struggling day at Bartlett from the bank. I couldn't catch anything. I didn't know why, so I said, screw it, I'm gonna put a brush hog. Screw it, I'm gonna put it on a Nico rig. And that is now one of my new favorite things, is a Nico rig brush hog, because all the appendages are just slowly fluttering in the water column. You can use nail weight anywhere from 1/16 all the way up to a 1/8 ounce nail weight. I typically like tungsten because it's easier to slide in, smaller profile, but you can always use the lead nail weights as well. All these techniques are gonna catch you fish, and I'm telling you guys, never shy away. Even mid-morning, sometimes you'll get on a bite when it comes to the Topwater. So never be afraid to pick up the Topwater around 9, 10, 11 o'clock and just give it a try, especially if you see any sort of shade line, any sort of mud pocket, mud line, anything like that. Just work some sort of Topwater along those lines, and you're gonna be able to get more fish, and you're gonna be able to hook up probably once or twice, even if it's midday, because there's always gonna be those fish to find somewhere cooler, and so they're gonna be going inside any sort of shade pockets. And so a Topwater lure is always a great option. And then remember, they're gonna be moving off into deeper water, so have a 5 to 6 XD. Typically you could get away with a 5. A 5's typically, come on, focus, there you go. But typically a 5 XD is all you need. You don't really need a 6 XD unless you're fishing like Saguaro Canyon and there are those really deep ledge walls and you just want to get it down there and try to catch a big. Typically that's all you need, 5 XD. Remember, Gizzard Shad, that is my go-to. You can also use a chartreuse, a sexy shad. I like to keep it simple. I don't like to go with all these crazy colors. Bluegill is a really good color as well though. You could give that a shot. That's probably the most crazy color that I've ever used when it comes to any sort of crankbait. I don't try red, I don't do any of that stuff. I stay very simple, match a hatch, and it's paid off for me. And then also the lizards, never forget, try the lizards. There's a ton of them during the summer, fall, running along the bank, easy bass snacks with a little bit of spike it on the tail. That can make the biggest difference between you catching a fish and not catching a fish. So keep that in mind. The spike, it's actually very, very important. And then also the brush hog by Zoom. Never go wrong with it. Watermelon, black flake, always a great color. And just remember, go out there, have fun, don't get stressed out. Fishing can be a hassle, trust me. It has been a hassle for me urban wise this summer. Last summer I shredded urban. This summer I am struggling so hard. I can't catch a fish it seems like, but I'm gonna be adding a couple clips just to the end of this video, just from a few fish that I caught a couple days ago on my day off. And man, I can't seem to catch a bite. But the one lure that's still catching me fish, even on the urban scene this summer, is the Buzzbait. That's the only thing I'm catching anything on. I don't know what it is, but they're attacking the Buzzbait on the urban scene. So if you're watching this and you like to fish the urban scene, Buzzbait, that's gonna work. I've tried worms, I've tried drop shot, I've tried texture rig, I've tried flick shakes, weightless Senkos. I've tried everything and nothing will hit. So I don't know what is going on, but make sure you guys do use a Buzzbait. Always have some sort of top water tied on, whether you're at a lake, whether you're in the urban scene. Enjoy the next few clips, and before we go, make sure you guys go to enter to win the Mach Crush 2 combo. This thing is wicked. It is an awesome combo by Lews. I just picked it up. This is going to be the giveaway. The giveaway ends August 3rd, so don't forget it. I'll have that video linked below so that you guys know how to enter to win. Make sure you guys go follow me on SW Fishing 101 on Instagram as well. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like button, bell notification. If this video helped you guys out, please hit that like button. If it didn't, shoot, give me some suggestions. Leave your comments down below. Say, hey, this is working for me. Give it a shot. Especially help me out with the urban scene fishing I've been struggling with. So if you guys have any ideas with that, please help me out, because I'm struggling. I don't know what it is, but out at the lakes I have been crushing it. I just haven't had the opportunity and the time to be able to take the boat out and go out to the lake as of late, but I'm going to be doing the best that I can to go out a couple times this coming week in the boat, and it should be fun. And we also have a video coming up where I'm going to be up in Lake Mary fishing for pike. Never done that really before, so that's going to be fun. And I mean, I got some ideas, guys. I have some ideas, and it should be pretty fun, should be exciting, and I hope you guys stick with the channel and stay tuned, because we have a lot of cool stuff coming up ahead. So make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I know I blabber a lot, but I appreciate you guys so very much. We'll see you guys next time on Southwest Fishing. But if you throw some sort of topwater bait out deep, it can attract those fish, and they will come up and crush it sometimes. Not a big one, but it's a fish, and it's a start. Decent little fish, not too bad. I mean, it's like a pond-sized bass, so can't complain. Oh, there we go. There we go. Got one. I'm glad it wasn't big, otherwise I would have ripped the rod out of my hand, because I had an awful grip on that. It's not a bad one, though. Gosh, they pull. These fish are feisty. There's some feisty fish. I mean, not a bad fish, definitely bigger than that last one, but we're gonna see if we can catch one a little bit bigger than this guy. Get a cool little release on him real fast. Feisty fish, I'll tell you what.